From 1987 to 1997, Australia was completely transformed. Let me tell you, the main reason is that at that time, Australia wasn't following Britain, but the United States. Then its policy changed. What should we call it? China bought out Australia. Eventually, the entire Bay Area across from the Sydney Opera House was completely bought out by wealthy Chinese and their second-generation princelings. Then Australia's economy boomed, from $150 billion GDP to $1.3 trillion today. The GDP per capita was greater than $50,000, surpassing the UK, Germany, France, and Japan. Isn't that impressive? But Australian politics is completely controlled by the CCP. Australia is the most heavily infiltrated white nation in Asia by the CCP. It is the country with the largest number of Chinese immigrants in higher education. When I went there before I was imprisoned, the first thing I asked was, can kangaroos be eaten? When I arrived again in Australia after being released in 1983, I'd already started studying architecture and researching the Sydney Opera House. I lived on the top floor of the Intercontinental Hotel, which was behind the Opera House, and my interactions were all with Australians, politicians, and artists. Wow, I've changed. I really spent time and money learning about Australia. I felt Australia would definitely fall to the CCP. That was my judgment at the time. The Australians are so greedy. They could be bought off with a little money. And their politicians were shameless, do you know? You've never seen anyone like them. The Brits still have some reserve, while the Americans sometimes try to be righteous, acting like Big Brother. The Japanese at least have some dignity. The Australians are the only shameless one. They'll do anything you ask them to do if you pay them. They're such a cheapskate, not a civilized Western nation. I said I would never come back to this place again. After about 2001, I rarely went there, only a few times because I had many friends there. And Australia is home to many children of Chinese Communist Party officials. So, it's a very complex country. My experience with it was very interesting. So, what we're seeing in Australia right now, being bought by the CCP, isn't just a serious blow. It's a complete wipeout. I've dealt with every Australian TV station and newspaper. Do you know why? During the 2008 Olympics, all those bastards at the Australian TV stations, after taking money from the CCP, refused to pay over $1 million to rent a 10 square meter room. They refused. They came to Pangu to find me. Like Channel 7. We sued Channel 7 in 2009, do you know? The Sydney Herald was in Pangu. We provided them for free. They made many promises to us, but all of them disappeared after the 2008 Olympics. So I know these bastards in Australia all too well. It's just a few small figures behind the scenes, but the CCP has them all under control. Australia is a total wipeout. There's no righteous media in Australia. Absolutely not. No matter how happy you are there, there's no righteous media. They were utterly terrible, wicked, and extremely greedy. There's no oversight, and the politicians are incredibly subservient. The second scariest thing in Australia right now is social media. Australia is ranked in the top 18 to 20 civilized countries among the Western nations out of 223 countries worldwide. Among civilized countries, Australia likely has the worst internet and the most poorly designed internet platform layout. They don't want you to have free social media. This is terrifying. Australia is part of Asia, but it's completely British, the white, supreme, European culture of the Commonwealth. At the same time, it follows the United States in military and economy, and now it's controlled by the CCP. The CCP held internal meetings. I knew it because I often attended their meetings. Former security ministers like Xu Yongyue and Gung Huichong, and later Qiu Jin, Minister Dong, Vice Minister Ma Jian, and a whole bunch of other ministers, including Suan Yonghai. They were constantly hanging out at Pangu. They always said, we must completely take over Australia, or we shouldn't touch it. This policy was followed all the time. Their strategy remained unchanged for 2 or 3 decades. It wasn't only the same political party. You know some of the most sensitive figures in China at the time, including Qin Tonghai from China National Petroleum Corporation, Zhou Shuan, uncertain, who committed suicide in Tianjin, and Chen Liang U.S. family. Many of these people had their own supermarkets, shops, and restaurants in Sydney, Canberra, Melbourne, and the Gold Coast. Just think about it. Why are all these people in Australia? Australia is completely under the CCP's control.